Hey everybody, welcome to book study. Super excited for tonight. And we will be tackling chapter 7, which is on intentionality. And then Becca Sauer is going to be tackling chapter 8. So before we get started, I have a quick humbling story to share with you all because Becca and I were talking about what chapters we were going to be covering. And I naturally said, hey, go ahead and pick whatever one you want, and I'll just take the other. So she said, yeah, I'll go with chapter 8. And so I was like, great. So I was counting off the chapters. I'm like, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm like, I guess I get 9. So I had prepared for chapter 9. And Christina messaged me this morning. She's like, hey, girl, do you got any discussion questions? I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get you some. And so I sent her all my questions for commitment. And sure enough, it was the wrong chapter. So then here we were. When I realized that I had studied the wrong chapter, Becca, in her true fashion, she's like, girl, you know you're going first tonight, right? And I said, no, your chapter comes before mine. And then I just crawled under my skin because I had sent Christina the questions. Christina, who is the master of intentionality and the queen of it. And here I am just studying the wrong chapter. So anyway, I learned my lesson here. And we're talking about intentionality, and this is a struggle for me, obviously. So all that to say, if you guys struggle with intentionality and time management, you're not alone. Okay. And Becca said, hey, anyone can be an emerald. So I was like, okay. So break the ice there. All right, let's jump into chapter 7, intentionality. I love the quote that they started off with. Intentionality is the secret weapon in your war on mediocrity. And for me, I initially thought, intentionality in general, and being a mom and having babies every 2 years for 8 years has been, a lot of mediocrity of just sitting on the couch and nursing my babies and just caring for them. And guys, I fell into a pit of, hey, let's play Scrabble on my phone or, do these mindless nonsense things. And I fell into that pit of mediocrity. And once my kids got older, I did come out of that, but it became a lifestyle for me and a struggle to have time management or whatnot because I was a stay-at-home mom and I took life as it came at me. And so jumping into this opportunity with Plexus, it really was a complete shift in my mindset and in how I'm going to run my organization. And so, as we all know, it requires time and it's an investment. And when they talked about investment, I really started to think about, even the power of the word. If you're investing money, that hurts, right? Like there is weight to that. It is an investment. It holds value. And, as we invest our time, you can't get that back. It's perishable. So when you waste that time, I mean, you'll never get that back. So to be intentional with your time, now when you are building your own business, it might hurt now and you might feel that now, but in the long term, having that long-term mindset of where do I really want my business to go? Where do I want it to be? And investing in that now is going to be the investment worth making. And just being intentional about that. We have to have a goal. We have to have a dream in order to make that time valuable for us now. And I love what Christina says. She said this on a call the other day, but do our dreams match our work ethic? And so, for me to say, I want to go diamond, and then to not be diligent in my IPA or not be diligent in, just really setting a schedule and a routine, I'm not going to get to diamond that way. And for some of you, I mean, I wasn't there long ago. A year ago, I just had hit gold. And for me, like, I went all in, and guys, I spent all my time doing plexus, and we're going to discuss this in a minute, but that was poor time management, and I became really burnt out. And so to have this training now and to be able to grab hold of that and to apply it is going to help you so much to not have to experience that burnout and to be able to create that routine for yourself and your family. So I found a quote today. It was really awesome that it came up today, but it's by Carl Frederick Buechner. He's an American writer and a pastor. He's dead now, but he had some wise words. But he said, "One life on this earth is all that we get, whether it is enough or not enough. And the obvious conclusion would seem to be that at the very least, we are fools if we do not live it fully and bravely and as beautifully as we can." That holds a lot of weight to it. But to live it fully, you know, to live it bravely, this is a brave job, a brave opportunity that we have to reach out. And a lot of times we experience rejection, but it's beautiful when you see the outcome of lives changed, and when you see your future for your family changed, and those dreams that you're able to dream. I can't imagine a better opportunity. So with intentionality, it requires discipline, something that I struggle with. I'm preaching to the choir. If we are not purposeful with our time, we leave our results to chance. If we don't do our IPA daily, we leave our results to chance. If we're not connecting with our leaders, we leave our results to chance. If we're not connecting with our customers, we leave our results to chance. How is that working for us? Chance has not served me well. This is a people business, and we need to serve our people. It's relationship based, and it requires stewardship. Stewardship is such a heavy word. It's loaded, but if we can steward our responsibilities as leaders, that is duplicatable, and people see the value in that, and it yields results. The actions that we take throughout our day ultimately determine our destiny. And I love the 3 different blocks that he mentioned, and I can't wait to apply them. But the strategic block is a 3-hour uninterrupted time per week, whether it's 3 days of 1 hour, however it works with your schedule. And if you can give more, that's even better. But then to have that buffer block, that 30 minutes to an hour a day, where you're not doing the most intense mind work. And then we have the breakout blocks, which I was so amazed by, because taking those breaks, that's what I was saying before. I did not stop to take my breaks. I was a workaholic. I had a goal, and I just worked and worked and worked. But to be able to just stop and enjoy moments and play with your kids or go out with friends, that's allowed. And it's actually going to benefit your business in the long run. Studies show that play releases endorphins, improves brain function, stimulates creativity. It improves your memory, stimulates the growth of the cerebral cortex. And so by just having a balanced schedule, a balanced routine, and just blocking out that time for your family, like what is your perfect family week? And then what is your perfect plexus week? What does that look like? Write that out. What are your priorities? And then schedule around that. So that's just in brief, a little bit of thoughts that I had on chapter 7. And I'm going to turn it over to our rising jewel coming up here in a little bit, Becca Sauer.
All right. So here's what I've got for accountability. It's going to be a new month soon, right? So you've set your goals. Now what? We are passionate about our business, and we're very hopeful to be able to achieve those great things. So here's the deal. Accountability, it's what separates the super successful leaders from the mediocre. I do believe accountability is super important in our life. We preach it to our new joins, right? Do you have someone that you can be accountability partners with? And we say research shows that you're going to be 80% more successful if you have someone to do it with you. We say this too, like, I want to eat better. I want to exercise more. I want to choose healthier habits. And so we always need accountability to reach our personal goals, spending time with the Lord. We could go on and on, right? And accountability is not a bad thing. It's just saying that I want more. I want to reach my goals. I want to be the best that I can be. And recently, I told Kayleen, I said, look, girl, I am stinking it up with my IPA. And so I just told her, I'm going to be sending you my IPA sheet every Sunday night. And this wasn't something that she required of me, obviously, but it was me looking at myself and saying, I need to take some initiative, and I'm seeking this out because I want her to hold me to my word. And of course, she was like, okay. So if you're having a hard time keeping yourself accountable, with personal accountability, then seek it out and find someone for your business. Also, in your personal goals, whatever those are, definitely seek it out because it is super important. And I do think it's vital. So that leads me to the importance of accountability, right? It eliminates the time and effort you spend on the distracting activities and other unproductive behaviors. It keeps us focused on those necessary actions. Also, choices, right? We make choices all day long. What do we read somewhere in one of our book studies that we make 35,000 conscious and unconscious decisions a day, which that is a lot. And so it just made me think, am I weighing my choices every day? Like those choices matter. And am I weighing that? Am I looking at the consequences that potentially will come from those choices? Or am I coming from the free spirit mindset where I just do whatever feels good in that moment? And so I challenge you to think, what choices are you making? And in the book, it talked about when you're approaching your business, there is I choose to and I have to. And when you are having to, right, it becomes a burden. It feels very laborious to do. And you're probably just completing minimal requirements. You're only doing a little bit of effort, right, just to get by. But when you make that choice, you are empowered. You are inspired to create, to dig deep. You're not settling, and you're giving it your best. So, personal accountability is being willing to answer for your choices and actions and the behaviors. And when you're personally accountable, you're taking ownership of the situations that you're involved in. Because the truth is, we know we can't control everything. I know I'm that type of personality where I like to control things, and I can't control those external forces, right? But I can control my thoughts and I can control my actions. So true accountability actively confronts the truth, looking inward at your choices, whether it's propelling you forward towards your goals or whether there's going to be consequences from choices that you made all month long when you look in that back office and it's not where you want it to be, right? So understanding that true accountability is about choice and taking ownership of your choices, and then everything changes. So I wanted to shift real briefly to accountability and ownership when you're working with your team. And so we're inspiring people to take action and to be responsible for their actions when we're talking to our leaders and our business builders. We're teaching them to value their work. And when done right, accountability can increase their skills as well as their confidence. Ownership of your own business as well is going to be learning how to delegate responsibilities and allowing your team to operate in their strengths, which is going to give them a sense of responsibility, right? Taking pride in their work, And I think it also will definitely improve the quality of the work. And I came across this acronym, and it says SET SMART, SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And this will leave little to their imagination on the expectations, and you're really providing, clear communication. So we're in the business of following up. We're following up with our prospects. We're following up with our leaders. But I also want to make sure that we're following through, right? So we're having those hard conversations with our leaders. And, I've always been taught that when you're getting ready to have a super hard conversation, that you want to start with something positive. You want to see what they're doing really good and lead with that. And it also brought me to just a couple questions of how assessing myself as a leader. And so I have 4 questions that I kind of came up with. And one is, have I explained the expectations? Or another way is, have I adapted to their walk, run, or sprint? Number 2 is, am I monitoring their performance and coaching them adequately? 3, had they already been sufficiently trained in this area? Number 4, of course, mindset issue, or is this a skill set issue? And then giving them homework, right? Accountability is going to stretch us, grow us. It's very painful sometimes, uncomfortable. It's asking us to do those scary things from time to time, but we know the results will come. To be successful, you must develop the mental honesty and courage to own your own thinking, actions, and results. Ultimately, you choose your actions, your results, and your consequences. So I'd like to end with a quote from our beloved Dr. Henry Cloud. And he says, accountability is like a temperature gauge. It tells you when you have a problem, it exposes the problem, but it does not fix the problem. And that's all I have.
Good job, you guys. Very, very good job. If you guys are on my team, you'll